doing? My name's Scott, and I'm running for president in 2028. I know you're saying, who the fuck is this guy? I would be saying the same thing. Never seen me on TV. I don't know Beyonce, don't know Jay-Z. I don't have $2 billion to run for president. And the reality is I don't really even want to be president. I just want to be the last president. I want to create a movement that ends the presidency in about 90% of elected officials. And I honestly believe I have the blueprint to do that. I know that sounds crazy, because it seems like stuff is so far out of control. It's almost like half the country hates the other half. Everybody thinks they're misinformed. It's sad. The country's in a bad shape right now. It's because we don't have real leadership. And I'm going to try to convince you that I'm that leadership. At least a vote for me will be a vote to change the system, to revolutionize our government, because it's far past time to do that. Excuse me. One of my favorite quotes is from Steve Jobs, the guy who founded Apple with Woz. And he said, the people that are crazy enough who think they can change the world are the ones that do. So I want to ask you, are you crazy enough? Come on, man. Join me. You got to look around and see that the shit's fucked up. And it's time for a change. So I'm going to try to convince you. One of the first things we have to do is the people have to get control of the money supply. We have to get control of the Federal Reserve. Even though the Federal Reserve says it's federal, it's not federal, it's a private entity. They have more control over the presidency. Presidency can't do anything to control them, to tell them what to do. They're on their own. And the problem with that is that they create money out of nothing. They legally use a system called fractional reserve practices that allows them to loan out 10 times, at least 10 times. We don't even know how much it is. It was 10 times years ago. Who knows how much it is? They just make it up as they go along. But it's 10 times what they have in deposits. So you deposit $1,000, they could turn around and loan out $10,000. That little scam there has allowed them, when I say them, I say the establishment, you call it whatever you want, the secret government, the elitists, the upper Manhattan socialites, whatever you want to call it. These people want to control everything. They're control freaks. And what they've done is they manipulated the money supply, and they've been doing it for hundreds of years. You know, back in the 1600s, bankers used to meet over a cup of tea, and they would come up with the price of gold. So if they're going to sell gold tomorrow, what are they going to do? Jack up the price. If they want to buy gold tomorrow, what are they going to do? They're going to lower the price. So the whole game has been rigged from the beginning. So it's only fair that to bring America back into line where we should be going with the American dream, and everybody prospers, and you can chase that American dream. Everybody has their own unique way of existing, and it's all okay. You know, all this bullshit that they're doing right now to divide and conquer us, they try to find any little thing that they could divide us, and then that's what they highlight. It's bullshit. These people fucking suck. And they do this because their policies suck. If they had a great idea, they would say, hey, you know what? We're going to move forward doing this, and it's going to be great and this, but they can't because their ideas suck. So what they do is they have to get us all fighting against each other. So then we're screaming, do something, change it. And then they do. They implement their bullshit, and then we're fucked. Digital debt slavery, watching everything you do, stifling free speech. That's not what anybody wants. That's not what America is. And the only thing that is keeping America afloat right now is that the fact that we have fucking guns. And you don't want to hear that. I know the liberals don't like to hear that. Oh my God, guns, guns, guns. If we didn't have guns, we'd be like England. They would be jailing people over Facebook posts. I don't think anybody wants that, you know? If you don't like what the fuck I say, you know what? Don't listen to what I have to say. It's pretty simple. That's what makes America great. You can do whatever you want. And if you don't like it, turn the fucking channel. Turn it off. That's why I always said social media, everybody's free to do whatever they want. You don't like it, push their button, they're gone. You don't have to listen to what the fuck they say. But right now, it's like somebody's coming around the grocery store, you talk to your friend, they separate and you go, be quiet. You can't talk about that. What the fuck? That's bullshit. That's not social media. That's some kind of weird fucking video game with psychotic fucks watching it and censoring it. Fuck you guys, man. Seriously. That's not America. America is the American dream, and create a situation where we can go forward and everybody has a chance to fulfill that dream. And one of the ways you do that is you have to have financial freedom. Right? Financial freedom. It's not that difficult. It's not fucking rocket science. And how do you get financial freedom in a system that's totally been corrupted and it's an unlevel playing field or whatever you want to call it? It's bullshit. But this is how you do it. You can't use gold. I know the current state of things, I think gold went up, like 45% the last year. It can't be gold. The people that control the banking industry right now, that use fractional reserve banking, that is able to create money out of nothing, what do you think they do? They buy all the precious metals. So if you ever do convert a currency backed by gold or silver or whatever, it's already fucked. It's the same bankers, thieves, and lawyers that have been controlling this shit show forever, which is perpetual war. We control everything. Here's some crumbs. Good luck. That's not what we're going to do anymore. At least that's what I hope we don't do. Like I said, 2028's it. We could change everything. Give me a chance to explain it. This is where it gets a little boring. But trust me, I think I really do have a blueprint. This isn't something I just came up with in the last couple months or something. This is something I've been working on for 40 years. I'm 57. I was born in 1967, the winter right after the Summer of Love. And I think like less than a year after that, I was in a horrible car accident. I flew through the windshield. I think that's what happened. It jerked me out of this reality so I can come up with this solution. Not that I'm patting myself on the back, but I put a lot of work into this. Try to give me like 10 minutes. I'll try to do it real quick. I know there's a lot of video games and porn out there to watch, but let's save our country. Come on, man. Let's band together. Let's stop hating each other. Let's give the power back to the people like Abraham Lincoln envisioned.
My name is Scott, and I'm running in 2028 to be the last president to ever reside in the White House before the people turn it into a museum along with the rest of Washington, D.C. As we eliminate 90% of elected officials at all levels of government and return the government to the people. I believe I have the blueprint to do just that. In 2009, I marched in the Fed rally in Los Angeles. I believe the only way to preserve the American dream is financial freedom. We must build a future where every individual who chooses to be an American has a pathway to the American dream, freedom, and liberty. We have to take back control of our money supply from the international banking cartel, which includes the Federal Reserve, the third central bank of the United States, and utilize the money-creating mechanisms they have used to basically purchase the country with money that has never existed. For too long, an invisible hand has kept this nation in a state of perpetual war, kept us fighting amongst ourselves. They know the people will always sacrifice their liberties and freedoms for protection. It's how they keep you subservient to the government, how they keep you paying taxes and living in fear. I want to present another way to look at a political ideology, one that younger people today are embracing, but older people are absolutely horrified of. When you mention communism, you get all kinds of reactions. Mostly you hear about the hundreds of millions of people who have been murdered because of communism. I believe young people are embracing it because capitalism has failed them. If you were born after 2000, it's been pretty bleak to say the least. Most young people realize they will never be able to afford a home in this economy. The job outlook is horrendous as well, with the future of AI replacing many jobs. So young people are looking for something new, and the older generations are looking for stability and a return to a healthy dollar using good old capitalism. Capitalism has freed more people than any other economic system. It gave Americans the opportunity to build the greatest nation the world has ever known. Yet the majority of Americans live paycheck to paycheck and are one emergency away from financial ruin. That doesn't seem like a system that's working for everyone any longer. It definitely doesn't seem like one fighting for. Today's capitalism has run its course. If you throw in a $40 trillion government debt, 15 trillion mortgage debt, and a 2 trillion credit card debt, we are looking at some dark financial times ahead if we keep on this path. This federal debt was created by elected officials who basically bought power with taxpayer funds. People with access to the Federal Reserve and government aid have looted the Treasury and probably most of Fort Knox. There's no gold and there's no reserves. The globalists and elites have decided, in order to fulfill their globalist ambitions, America must be destroyed. These are not good people, and your well-being isn't even on their radar. They just want power and control. They are looting the wealth of the American people, while at the same time purposely destroying the country so it could be brought into a new world order. The reality is that we have the power, and we could change the direction of this country if we want to. If we put aside the establishment pressure points they are constantly throwing at us, anything they can use to divide us, they know a nation is much easier to conquer when it's in turmoil. Don't let them destroy the American dream. This current administration has given us the opportunity to not only preserve liberty and freedom, but it has given us the opportunity to reimagine government and put the people as the main focus. This is how we reimagine the United States of America. First, we eliminate 90% of elected officials at local, state, and federal levels. Modern-day technology has made this possible, and it's long overdue. You no longer need someone representing you when you are capable of representing yourself. You do this by abandoning Washington, D.C. The capital of this country has been on the East Coast since its founding. It's time to start fresh on the West Coast. Cut off the lifeline to the lobbyists and the swamp, the leeches who are not elected but are like warts in D.C., and they never go away. Move the capital to San Francisco and build it on Alcatraz. Change the name to Freedom Island. The only remaining powerful politicians will be the 50 governors from each state. They will have offices on Freedom Island, a governor roundtable, and a staff of 50 people. The governors will elect amongst themselves a leader to represent us in foreign affairs and in emergency domestic affairs. The government will create a new branch of the military called People's Force. This is how you modernize communism and take corruption out of the equation. This will be a 5-year enlistment that will revolve around political science and cybersecurity. It will be an elite military administrative service with the highest standards. These individuals will be stationed on Freedom Island and oversee the new digitized government and a streamlined security apparatus that will combine the FBI, CIA, and Homeland Security. Local and state governments will also follow guidelines of the federal government and create a digital cybersecurity force to oversee new digitized government functions. The new digitized federal government will consist of a social media platform that will become your digital ID/social security number, giving the people transparency of all people force activity and total control of their government. Based on the Facebook platform, each U.S. citizen will be given their own government website. You will access all your apps from this homepage. You will still be able to access the internet without using your homepage. But when you're using your homepage to access apps, you will be provided the very best cybersecurity, and there will be the harshest fines for those hackers that try to get your information. You will use your homepage and access to the government version of Facebook to maneuver your way around government functions. Also, utilizing AI, the government will provide a user-friendly bill builder for users to create and monitor legislation at local, state, and federal levels. Instead of liking someone's picture of their dinner or their new puppy, you can watch videos and debates on important issues and cast a meaningful vote using this platform. You will be able to see in real time how your vote affects your taxes and income, putting all the responsibility on the individual voter. No more political parties or electoral college. Each individual is responsible for their own vote and the direction of the country. The next step is to take control of our money supply and the money creating mechanisms that already exist. Right now, the money creating process works like this. The government needs some money. Congress creates a bond for $1,000. It then hands it over to the Federal Reserve, which isn't federal and they have no reserves. I love saying that. They sell the bond to China. China gives the Fed $1,000. The Fed deposits that $1,000 into one of its 12 Federal Reserve banks. And using fractional reserve banking practices, they legally turn that $1,000 into $10,000. They then give the government back the $1,000 from the bond. Of course, they take their fee, and the American people have to pay the $1,000 plus interest. They then use the $10,000 that they created from nothing to basically buy our freedom. Now, with entities like BlackRock, who are in bed with the banking industry, they are able to manipulate the money supply in their favor, making it possible for them to purchase controlling interest in almost every company that matters. This has left the control of our future in the hands of people who don't really deserve that power. They didn't really work for it. They are cheaters and thieves. The worst kinds of people have chosen themselves to dictate how the world moves forward. That doesn't work for me, and I'm hoping you want more out of the future as well. Nobody wants to be considered a useless eater, and nobody wants to be a victim of digital debt slavery. We are going to use the system they created with a little twist of imagination to take control of our money supply and create a system that starts with financial freedom. Financial freedom is a requirement to pursue the American dream. It's possible to create this system while maintaining people's current wealth and investments and property. Unless you have $1 million saved for retirement, you might want to be open to a new monetary system. Social Security is going to run out. Even if you're well off and are content with your financial situation, there won't be much freedom with out-of-control crime and desperation. With this new system, current wealth will be mathematically manipulated in such a way that sustains purchasing power for those existing dollars. People will not lose any value to their savings, and they will be given more opportunities to expand already existing wealth with people controlling the mechanisms of money creation. Like I said, these things already exist. Most have fancy and important names, but at the end of the day, they're expanding our money supply with profit margins as the main point and not the people. That's what needs to change. Let me show you the possibilities when you reimagine what we can do. We talked about our almost $60 trillion in debt. This has to be wiped out so we can pay off the foreign countries and individuals who bought our bonds and are holding on to our debt. Nobody gets screwed. Plus, we want to bring these foreign nations into our new monetary system. This is where the American collectible can be used as an initial backing to our currency. By manipulating the price of collectibles like sports cards, we can generate enough wealth to pay off all our debt. Remember, recently a Mickey Mantle baseball card recently sold for $50 million. Using just this one card and manipulating it using fractional reserve banking practices, this card turns into at least $500 million. Are you starting to see the picture? They really just make it up. If you remember, in 2008, when the housing market crashed, they created $5 trillion to bail themselves out. Why didn't they just create $10 trillion or $20 trillion? Bankers want you to believe you can trust them because they have oversight. But they always police themselves with one of their own, and they come up with fancy names to describe basically pulling money out of their ass. Well, this has already been done in the past with gold, when gold was reevaluated to pay for Roosevelt's Great Society. Unfortunately, gold and precious metals are mostly in the hands of the same bankers, thieves, and lawyers who have been running this shit show for the last 100 years. That's why it's essential to reimagine a new backing for our currency. Using a sport card collectible is just part of it. The other part is to nationalize the banks. By doing this, we can take the wealth of the people and using fractional reserve banking practices, we can manipulate the money supply in such a manner that we create pools of wealth to cover universal health care, a universal basic income, and to lift up those in the most need, and build an economy where everyone thrives. By nationalizing banks and creating a new way of utilizing fractional reserve banking practices, we can mathematically sustain an economy that builds healthy and prosperous communities. Universal basic income obviously must be implemented, but in such a way to develop the best citizens possible. A system of life credits, along with the new currency, will be established that can be acquired from a multitude of activities and be used just like money in most cases. Establishing a universal basic income that requires citizens to stay productive is key to building healthy communities. You do this by implementing lifelong learning and providing financial rewards for skills and hobbies. Local governments will build learning centers to take the place of traditional schools. Some centers will have age restrictions to keep children safe and supervised. But these centers will be set up for people of any age to use to get smarter and financially rewarded. As you get smarter, your basic income increases, paying you in life credits that can be used like money for a multitude of things like food and utilities. Local governments will also set up talent centers where people can go in front of experts and show off their talents, like playing a musical instrument or cooking. You will be given an initial level and receive life credits for that skill. You can come back every 6 months, and as you excel, you receive a higher rating and receive more life credits. This will ensure that people continually get smarter and talented while receiving a basic income. State governments will be provided federal funds to purchase the professional sports teams that reside in that state. Nationalizing professional sports will give citizens another avenue of income, while building communities and bringing people together, actually having a say in the direction of the team with total transparency and control. Also, establishing new legalized betting pools that allows every citizen to profit from professional sports regardless of participation. When it comes to business, the people must take controlling interest in American corporations that are essential in sustaining freedom and liberty. Financial pools will be set up to purchase controlling interest and nationalize these corporations. Oil companies, utility companies, pharmaceutical companies, and possibly some media companies also. These corporations will be nationalized and brought into a binary economy where growth is financed with interest-free loans to employees, making them owner-operators, collecting profits as the corporation grows and expands, turning places like Amazon into an ESOP, an employee stock option plan corporation. This is how it would work. An ESOP is often used as a way for business owners to transition out of the company, with employees gradually purchasing the company's stock. The ESOP would facilitate employees acquiring stock using interest-free loans from a central bank, and then using the pre-tax earnings from that stock to pay for it. This will enable large companies to become owner-operated, while still enabling entrepreneurs to follow their dreams and create independently owned companies, and obviously become filthy rich. Social media with people as the main focus and not profits will allow for real debates and people to own their data and information, where the power of the people will dictate business policy. I hate to pick on Amazon, but all Amazon really is a Sears catalog online with a mail service. The post office could have been updated, and Amazon could have benefited society, and not just egocentric, weird attention seekers who need the biggest yacht to get Leo DiCaprio over for dinner. Hate to pick on you, but that's what it looks like to the public. That's just weird and doesn't make any sense. The people will decide limits on power, on wealth, or if there needs to be any limits. In any case, through real debates online, these issues will be resolved. There still needs to be possibilities to become filthy rich. But when it becomes a detriment to society, we need to take a look at it. Like I said, the people will decide with online debates and ultimately some kind of vote on its relevance and meaning to the general public. Nationalizing many functions of society is no longer scary when complete oversight is possible using cybersecurity and AI. Digitized communism can give the power to the people. Once this is a reality, the possibilities are endless, freeing up people to participate in the formation of the future, giving them financial freedom and the ability to pursue their own unique kind of happiness. Imagine pools of funds that allows people to be financially rewarded for being productive, getting paid to play sports your whole life, organize softball, baseball, bowling, tennis, basketball, football, etc. Getting paid to participate in lifelong organized sports will keep people healthy and communities strong. Remember, when the people are the beneficiaries of banking practices that legally allows for the manipulation of the money supply, the nationalizing of our banking industry will allow the people's savings to be manipulated in such a way to sustain the social services discussed here without raising any taxes. The people's wealth becomes the financial instrument to sustain the American dream and our freedoms and liberties. Remember, America is the largest economy, at least 10 trillion over the European Union combined. A logical and peaceful foreign policy is also key to sustaining the American dream. Israel, our greatest ally, should be brought into the American dream and used to stimulate economic growth. Israel needs to become a 51st state, stabilize its current borders, and visualize a new Israel within the borders of the United States. Part of Judaism is procreating and expanding their families. Much like many other religions, they need space. By creating space in the United States for a new Israel, we'll create an opportunity to build other areas in the country to celebrate other countries and cultures. The globalist elites want a melting pot, everyone procreating with everyone. That's fine too, I'm good with that. But it's essential to preserve our cultures and our uniqueness. It should be celebrated as often as possible. Building a new Israel, a new India, a new China, all within the borders of the United States, in such a way where partnership is formed with that country and the formation of a replica country in big cities throughout the United States are built, creating millions of jobs and universal understanding and compassion for all people and cultures. Much like Disney's World Showcase at Epcot Center, these sister countries would be real though, with real people from that country living there. All religions will be celebrated and a new universal place of worship will be developed throughout the country by the government to bring all people together. Sonology centers will have rotating sermons from all religions. These centers will also focus on real climate and health issues. They will provide daycare and senior activity centers. Sonology centers will become a type of lifelong YMCA to bring people together throughout their entire lives. Reimagine the country where the people are the main focus, where the mechanisms of power are controlled by the people. We can change the story. We already have the power, we just have to utilize it. My name is Scott, and I'm running to be the last president of the United States in 2028. Thank you so much.